Hey everyone, welcome to this Photovoice Training and orientation. We're happy that you're with us. Just wanted to go over some quick information before we get into the training. Make sure you check out the video linked in the description below, and it has a good example of how others have used Photovoice to better their communities and might help you orient yourself towards what Photovoice is. We've also sent an attached document which helps you kind of go through the process as well, and we would encourage you to look through that. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Lori or any one of us through the email that we sent to you. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. First off, for our next meeting, here are some basic ground rules that we want to set down. When you guys come, we would appreciate if you showed up on time, that when you're here and in the meetings that you make sure you're sensitive to other people and you respect what they say and their confidentiality. Never disclose anything that's said in the room with other people outside of the room. Make sure that you listen to each other and give each other enough time to speak, respecting each other's differences and opinions. Make sure to turn off your cell phones or put them on silent mode, and we just want to have fun and learn from each other. So feel free to participate in the activities. Alright, so really fast, this is our research question. How does culture affect your health? I want you to just think about that for a moment. Alright, so we're going to go on and give you an example of how a person has gone about representing how culture affected their health in a photograph. So here's the example. The description goes, "We congratulate people on major accomplishments using a lei. Lei were originally made from flowers, but making flower lei are now time-consuming and expensive. It is cheaper to give candy leis. Obesity is a problem in the islands. I wonder why." And this picture was taken by a 29-year-old female from American Samoa. Can you guys pause and think about how this is a good example of how culture affects their health? Awesome. So let's go and get into some of the nitty-gritty on how you can go about documenting your culture and how your culture affects your health. So first, let's take a look at these pictures. What do you see? Alright, so to summarize the experience we just had in the last slide, let's talk about how people may look at the same image but see different things, and what we perceive is not always what we see, and things are based on our own perceptions. Aspects of an image catch the attention of the viewer in a certain way, often based on our preferences or natural tendencies. Alright, so when we look at a photograph, we scan the image looking for meaning. We look for symbols, codes, things that we recognize and help us to understand and interpret the photograph. What these codes are depends on our culture, our experiences, or our age. But what else do you think they could depend on? Take a moment and think about that. Alright, take a look at this picture and ask yourself, how could this represent someone's culture, and how could it represent someone's health? If you were to write a caption for this picture to describe how this culture affects their health, what would you write? Alright, so just to sum up, different people see different things. You can use pictures as symbols to help us understand what you want to tell us. You can use more than one image to explain difficult concepts, and groups of pictures together strengthen the meaning of an individual picture. Groups of pictures together invite us to see the whole story. So let's talk about how to take a good photograph. At this point, we would invite you to see the attached document and look through it, and we would want you to understand how to take a good picture. The document talks about the rule of thirds and other important concepts as well. But here are the 4 F's. frame, focus, follow through, and flash and light. If you are aware of those 4 F's and how they affect your picture, that will be a key way of making sure your photographs turn out good. Alright, so before you start working with your camera, you should always ask permission before photographing people or their property. This is what we call consent. And in the attached document in the email you were given, there should be a consent form that you should have the people you're photographing, if they can be recognized, meaning if it's their face or if it's their property, you should always have them get written consent as well. If it's not going to be recognizable to people, make sure you get verbal consent. If you have any questions about consent, feel free to email us or send us questions as well. So before you start taking pictures, it might be good to explain to people a sentence like this. I am part of a Photovoice project. We use photography to show what we feel about our culture. That may be a good lead-in so people can understand what you're doing. If people don't want their picture taken, make sure you respect that and not take their picture. If everyone wants to be in the picture but that's not feasible or it won't demonstrate the image you're looking for, just explain that that's not possible. Alright, so just make sure as you're going about looking for photographing things in your culture to remember the question, how does culture affect my health? Make sure you ask yourself this. And I would encourage you just to take a moment right now and brainstorm in your mind how culture affects your health. Take a moment, write down your ideas, and then once you've written those down, go ahead and write where or how you could take a picture to demonstrate that. And feel free to pause the video if you need to. So, when you come back to our next meeting, don't forget to come prepared to talk about what your pictures meant to you. We're going to be meeting on November 5th. Also, you can see the handout for more information about that, which is in the attached document as well. Alright, so let's talk about how many pictures you should take. You should take 20 to 30 pictures, and they should be of good quality. Once you have your 20 to 30 pictures, you want to narrow those down to about 5 pictures, and those 5 pictures you will bring with you on November 5th. At that point, we're going to see all of the pictures and hear people's stories, and then we'll select 20 to 25 of those pictures to then be represented along with your quote underneath it as well. So just a reminder, if you're going out and taking pictures, make sure that you get an informed consent form from the person in your photo, if their face is visible, or if you're taking a picture of someone's property. And just a final reminder, our next meeting will be November 5th from 6:30 to 7:30. Feel free to email us if you have any questions. Dinner will be provided, and we're looking forward to seeing you there and having a great discussion. Thank you so much, and we hope you've enjoyed this training.